This is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. I am in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, visiting Judd KUHN Chevrolet, and I'm checking out the all-new 2016 Chevrolet Malibu in the 2LZ trim level. Now this is a really awesome car with lots of features, so let's go ahead and check it out. The wheels are a 19-inch alloy wheel, painted silver, and they look really sharp, especially contrasted with this color on this particular one. I have ventilated disc brakes here in the front and solid disc brakes in the back. Definitely the 2016 stands out. Really amazing front end here. I have the halogen projector headlights bifunction. They serve as the low and the high beam. And then you have some LED accents there at the bottom. Daytime running lights. Parking sensors here in the front and the back. Really like the looks. It's a little bit bigger vehicle than the previous models, but just overall just a smooth, classy vehicle. So this is what the key looks like. It's a proximity key, and it has the lock and unlock buttons there, the remote start there in the center, the ability to open up the trunk, and also a panic button there at the bottom. And then you have the Chevrolet emblem on the back. You also have a physical key on the inside in case you need it. Now the key is designed to have it in your pocket the whole time. You don't actually have to push any buttons on it to use the vehicle. You can just walk up and push this button. As long as you have the key with you, it's within a certain proximity of the vehicle, you can push this button to lock and unlock the doors. And once you're in the vehicle, you have a push button to start the vehicle, so you can utilize the whole car without actually taking the key out of your pocket. So here's the inside of the passenger door. Really classy looking and smooth, not too busy. You have a nice dished out place here for your arm. You have some wood grain accents there, a little storage pocket high, and you have one low down here, also a bottle holder. You have a premium Bose sound system. There's your threshold with the Chevrolet name all shiny popping out at you. You have power adjustable seats, including the lumbar support on these heated and cooled seats here on the front. Really comfortable and soft, supple leather. So you can see it goes in really good. Not too firm of a seat. It's very soft and comfortable, but not too soft where you're not going to sink in it or anything like that. It has some real slight perforations here in the center, but just an overall real nice seat. You can see it has a little bit of bolsters there, but nothing intrusive. So you have plenty of legroom here in the front. I mean, just a massive amount of legroom. And I don't know if you can see that, but right up in here on the dash is really stylish. You have a stitching right in here separating a leather texture from a perforated texture similar to the seats, matching the seats, and it's all soft to the touch. Let's take a look at the glove compartment. Glove compartment is smooth plastic on the inside, but you know, plenty of room. Let's take a look here on the back door. Same styling with the stitching, the wood accent there, and the pockets high and low as the other door, just a little bit smaller door. So here's your back seats, and you can see they are pretty good ways off the floor, so your knees are not going to stick up in the air. And with that seat all the way back, it still has a significant amount of legroom back here. You have they have the stitching and the contrast of leather texture with the perforation here. These are very comfortable seats with really good bolsters here on the side. You have the latch or ISOFIX system for the child safety seats. You have an armrest with cup holders in case you need that. Very small hump there in the center, so it doesn't interfere with the center passenger's legroom as much. And you also have down here a USB charger, so you can charge your cell phone or whatever. You also have a 12-volt power supply, but right there in the center you have an AC adapter, 120 volts, 150 watts. So that way you can charge your laptop or, you know, plug in your phone or something like that. So the backseat drivers can, you know, kind of have something to do while they're back here. Check out that panoramic sunroof too. Fuel doors on the passenger side, so you can have the passenger pump the gas for you. All right, so there's your cap. You have a little tether there so you don't lose it, and you have a little place to hang the actual cap away from the vehicle while you're pumping gas, which is pretty cool. Let's take a look here on the back. You see it has that nice sloping back glass, which is looking pretty cool. Also, I want to mention, you have a seamless roof right here, so you don't have any kind of you know, like sealing or anything like that. So that way, you know, I mean, it's a really solid roof, and you don't have to worry about any kind of trim wearing out or dry rotting and leaking on the roof. Then you have a really cool crease right in here, looking pretty cool. There's your shark fin antenna. So the back of the vehicle has parking sensors as well. You even have it here on the side, all the way across. You have the dual exhaust, so you let that 2.0 liter turbo engine breathe. You have the badging here, backup camera kind of hidden up in there. So opening up the trunk, you can use the key to do that if you wanted to. You can also just walk up and push this little button under here and pop it open. As long as you have the key with you, you're good to go. So here's your trunk, huge trunk. Absolutely massive. It goes all the way there on the sides. You have some tie downs there. It goes all the way to the ends. You also can fold those seats down, and they're in a 60-40 split fashion. You can fold them down one or the other in case you need a combination of cargo and passenger space. And you fold them down using these levers right here. You just pull those out and you just fold the seats down if you need to do that. So under here, this vehicle, you see this nice big padding right here, insulation, to keep the noise down inside the vehicle. But right in here, you can have the option of a spare tire or the tire inflator kit. This vehicle has the tire inflator kit. But you can see that's where the spare tire would go if you had one. So if you want to start the vehicle without you actually using the remote start here on the key, you just have to have the key on the inside of the vehicle, put your foot on the brake, hold it, and push this button. Here in the floorboard on the driver's side, you got lots of room. Everything's out of the way, organized. You just have the accelerator and brake pedal there. You also have a place to put your left foot here, which is super convenient. So let's go ahead and take a look under the hood. So to open up the hood, you have this, as you can see right there, that very bright yellow latch. You just move it there to the right. It's a little bit to the left of center. You just move it to the right and you lift up the hood. And the hood is very light, so you don't have any problems lifting it up. And there's your prop to actually hold it up. It does require a prop to hold up the hood. So here's your engine. It's an Ecotec 2.0 liter turbocharged. You can actually see the turbo right here in the front. Turbocharged engine. It gets 250 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Now this vehicle has an 8-speed automatic transmission. Electronically controlled 8-speed automatic transmission, which is absolutely amazing. Having 8 gear ratios to choose from really helps the vehicle find the appropriate gear ratio for whatever speed you're in. So that really helps out with fuel economy, performance, everything. Let's take a look here on the driver's side door. It's just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. It's had the high and low storage pockets there, the wood grain. Now the windows are, you have the power window controls here. Now all of them are one touch down. Now the only one that is one touch up is the driver's side. So you can roll them down by pushing them down one time, but rolling them back up, you have to hold them other than the driver's window. The actual glass is an acoustic glass. It has basically 2 pieces of glass sandwiched together with an acoustic material on the inside to keep the outside noise from vibrating the glass and transferring that noise inside the vehicle. Your side mirrors are controlled right here. You just pick a side and adjust it with this pad. Your door lock controls are here. You have presets for your seat, including an exit mode, so you can have, you know, people that are different sizes can adjust their seat the way they want and have them preset for them. There's your threshold, just like the other side, looking very impressive. And there's your power seats right there. You have lumbar support as well. So right in here we have a dial for your interior gauges. You can this is your dimmer switches for your gauges. You also have your headlight controls here. You have an off, automatic, parking lights, and there's your headlights. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look here on the inside. Really amazing design. The way it's just kind of simplified and roomy. I mean, I could put the seat all the way back to where I can barely touch the pedals. And then you have all this space here in the center. Nice, clear, crisp screen here in the center. Absolutely amazing. So let's go ahead and start here on the steering wheel. It is a leather wrap steering wheel with some little bolsters right here to kind of give you a nice grip. Stitch there on the inside. Very high quality feeling steering wheel. It gives a little bit in your hand. Nice, perfect thickness really. So, and it's a heated steering wheel too, so you can turn that feature on and off right there. And if you've never experienced a heated steering wheel in a really cold day, you're missing out. It's an amazing experience. So the steering wheel has quite a few buttons here, but the ones that you can see, I'll go over in just a second. The ones here in the back I want to tell you about. You have a volume here for the radio on the back of the steering wheel. It's kind of like a toggle switch here. So I can move the volume up and down there on the right, and on the back of the left side of the steering wheel you can cycle through your presets for your stereo. So if you have it set up, you can go ahead and cycle through all your favorite stations. So here on the left side you have your cruise control, and it's not a regular cruise control. You can turn it on and off there. You can resume, set, resume, go faster, slower. But you also, it's a adaptive cruise control. So basically it will match the speed of the vehicle in front of you if the vehicle in front of you is slightly slower than you. So that way it'll move up to them and then match their speed. This is really handy in, you know, on the highway when there's quite a bit of traffic and you don't want to have to constantly change your speeds to match traffic and speed up and slow down and all that stuff. It just makes highway travel much easier and stress-free. And you can change the distance in front of the vehicle by pushing this button here. So when I push that button, you can cycle through different distances there. So I prefer a far gap between the vehicle in front of me, but it all depends on your situation. Sometimes you need a little bit of a tighter gap, so that way you don't have people just, you know, pulling in front of you and eliminating your safe driving distance there. Okay, so you also have a lane departure warning system, which will let you know if you're swerving outside of your lanes. You can turn that on and off. Now the lanes have to be, you know, fairly well marked, so that's what that does. You also have a blind spot monitoring system. So when there's a vehicle in your blind spot, you see this little symbol there will illuminate while you're driving, so that way you know that somebody's in your blind spot. Now if you put your turn signal on, it's really going to get your attention with some audible alarms. Now that also is part of a cross path or cross traffic alert system, to where if you're parked perpendicular and you're backing out of your space, sometimes you can't see around the cars next to you. So this will alert you if there's a car coming in on either side, and it will illuminate the appropriate side. Lots and lots of cool safety features on this vehicle. So here on the right side is your ability to make and receive phone calls. Your voice recognition is all tied into that button, and then you can hang up there. Now these buttons correspond with between the gauge screen there, which we'll get into in just a second. Your windshield wipers are controlled right here, and your turn signal is right there, and you do have an automatic, it'll automatically dim, so it has a light sensor. You can turn that feature on and off by pushing this button. So when when you have your high beams on and a car approaches, it will dim the lights for them. Now the steering column is a tilt and a telescoping steering column, so that way you can kind of get it just the way you want it. and lock it in place with this little lever. Okay, so here's your gauges. Really nice illumination here around each dial. You have your RPMs here on the left, speedometer there on the right. It goes up to 160, interesting. And then you have your fuel gauge right here and your temperature for your engine coolant there on the right. Now the fuel gauge has a little pump there and has an arrow pointing to the right, showing you which side your fuel door is on. So that's pretty convenient. So this screen right here in the center is what I was talking about regarding these arrows right here on the steering wheel. So let's check it out. Right now it's showing us a digital speedometer. It also shows us a digital compass. The bottom left, so it says a W, which is telling us that the vehicle is facing west. You also have an odometer and telling you which gear you're in. So, but you'll notice it has this little scroll bar here on the right, similar to a computer. So I'm going to kind of scroll down so you can see, you can get some more information. This is where you have your average fuel economy, trip A, trip B, and I like the way it has the actual miles traveled, and it keeps track of your average fuel economy, because that's why a lot of people use trips to, you know, average out their fuel. So then you have a fuel range, how far you can drive before getting more fuel, oil life, how much more you got to go before an oil change, basically, and then there's your tire pressure on each tire, which is really cool. And then scrolling down again will give you your last 50-mile fuel economy. Of course, this is heavily skewed since this is a new vehicle and it hasn't really been driven normally yet. And then it scrolls down to the speedometer again. So if I scroll to the left, this pops up a whole menu here, and you can go into your audio. You can see what your radio is doing, your phone, so like you say your caller ID or whatever will pop up here. Your navigation information here, so you can have, if you have a particular route, it'll kind of give you some clues there to help you in your route. And of course you can go into an infinity of options and adjust all kinds of stuff. What's cool about this is the speed warning, so if you can turn that on so it'll alert you if you go over the speed limit. So I think that's pretty cool. You just kind of set it at a certain speed and it'll kind of beep at you if you go over that speed. I prefer cruise control, but I guess you can use that in combination with that. Okay, so that's kind of a rundown of that screen. And of course, you don't have to go in all that stuff. That's just there in case you need it. So you don't have to check the tire pressure all the time. It will pop up and let you know if there's anything that needs attention. So here's your touch screen, and it's really classy looking. The clarity of the screen just is really impressive. You know, the black part, I don't know if the camera can actually pick it up well, but it just really looks good. The colors are popping out in contrast to a very deep black and a glossy touchscreen. You have the outside temperature there, clock up here on the top right, which is really good. So right now we are on this home screen. So the push this button, it'll access this screen, and you have a bunch of icons similar to what you would find on your cell phone. You have these little app icon type things. So right now we can go into the audio, and right now it's showing it's on the satellite radio. But you can play music through the sound system in lots of different ways, which we'll get into in a minute. But right now we can tune through the stations. We can also tune directly by using a pad there. Now besides just the radio, you also can play music through other sources like this media right here. You have an auxiliary input, you have USB input, you have lots of different ways of playing music through the sound system, including Bluetooth audio. So once you pair your phone, you can actually play music off your phone directly on the system, which is really awesome. But just the overall look of it's really amazing. You also have some your presets across there at the bottom. So let's go ahead and go back to the home screen. So let's go to phone. This is where once you pair your phone, you have access to your contacts, recent calls. You actually have a little dial pad, which is not available until we pair a phone. You can actually listen to your voicemail there, and you have a voice commands as well to, you know, like call certain people on your, like in your phone book. Say call Lee Forrest. If Lee Forrest is in your phone book, it'll go ahead and call him for you. So this projection button, this is not going to show us anything right now because it corresponds with like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and things like that. So once you install that make that pair with your phone, it'll actually pop up here with the appropriate program that matches your device. So, and that's a whole new way of interacting with the screen. It kind of replaces this screen, and all of a sudden all these other things pop up. So I'm sure there's a zillion videos showing you how to do that, but I don't have anything paired right now. So, but that's what that does. Let's go into the navigation screen, check that out. Let's go ahead and zoom out. It's kind of zoomed in quite a bit. See, let's zoom all the way out. Let's really get out there. Yeah, we want to see the ocean there. You can see we're in North Myrtle Beach. Down in Myrtle Beach is down that way. And so now we can kind of get our bearings. We have a top down there, kind of a little bit of an angle there, so we can zoom in. But that's what your navigation screen. The clarity of the screen is awesome. The resolution is great. The colors, all that are good. Endless settings here. You have Apple CarPlay settings. Now, I just want to mention something here. Let me get back up. The teen driver. This, I haven't really played with this, but I'm not going to go ahead and set it up. But from what I understand, it will keep track of the vehicle, like how fast it's gone and all these different things, and kind of report back to your parents. So it's to kind of set up, if you let your teenager drive your vehicle, it'll kind of keep track of them, kind of spy on them for you, I guess. Okay, so Pandora, you can play music through that. That's like a internet-based radio, and then you can get all kinds of weather information. You can hourly, 5-day, on route, depending if you have a route, different locations. So that's a really cool feature. And this has different screens too. So you have you can get traffic, you have OnStar, and that's what's showing right now. Now, if you add apps, I'm assuming that it will, fill in with more stuff. So, it's just like any other software. It's always upgradable. Okay, so that's kind of the rundown on the actual screen there. You can get your presets there at the bottom of all the different things. It's a little bit more involved. There's lots of things you can actually go into and adjust in the settings and different things, but just to give you the general idea of what that's all about. So you have a traditional kind of volume knob there, tune through your stations. There's your home screen and your back button. So down here is your climate control. So you have a heated and cooled seat here for the driver. So it's a 3-stage. So there's full blast, middle, and low. Same thing with the cooled side. You can actually adjust your temperature here. It's a dual zone, and you can get the temperature right where you want it. You can actually see the temperature that you want. You have front and rear defrosters. Where you want the air to blow, you can recirculate the air. You have your fan speed, and also you have a automatic, so you can just kind of set it and forget it type thing. Now you can sync both driver and passenger with this button, so that way when you adjust this one, they both adjust the same. And then you have your heated and cooled seats there for your passenger side. So right under here, you have 2 USB ports and an auxiliary input. This is handy for playing music through the sound system, but you can also plug in devices to charge them as well. You also have a 12-volt power supply for that as well. So right in here, you have this really handy quick access tray to put stuff, and it's really open, and it's available for both the driver and the passenger. It has a really cool little light under here as well. Hopefully I'll be able to show this vehicle at night so you can see what I'm talking about. So right here we have some cup holders, and they're separated with this opening here, so that way you can utilize this space for more than just cups. And right in here you actually have this little place for what appears to be a cell phone. So I guess you'd have to have a cell phone that fits in there. Mine doesn't fit in there. I've got like one of those larger phones, but that one looks like it'd be a really cool spot to put a cell phone. You have electronic parking brake. You can engage by pulling it up and disengage by pushing it down. You just have to hold the brake to disengage it. So here's your shifter, and this is for your 8-speed automatic transmission. Go ahead and put it in reverse so we could take a look at the backup camera. Now the backup camera has these guidelines that move as you turn the steering wheel, which I'm doing now. You see those moving around, and you have that kind of a higher saturation wide screen or wide angle lens back there, so you can see from the bumper all the way to the sky and all the way around, and it just kind of, you know, makes things more visible. It's not really designed to be all pretty looking as much as it is safety features, so you can actually see everything. Let's go down here to the driver position. This is your normal drive position, which will cycle through the gear ratios automatically for you. Now, if you need to shift manually or downshift, especially if you're going down hills or something, you can go down here to this low range and you can adjust the speed, or actually adjust the gears with this plus and minus, and you'll know what gear you're in because it'll show right here in this spot. So right now we have low 1, 2, 3, and you can go all the way up to 8, and it'll actually shift gears for you up to 8. Now you're basically setting the highest gear ratio that you want the vehicle to go into. So it will kind of put it in the appropriate gear as you shift down. So like say if you're going, you know, 80 miles an hour or 70 miles an hour, and you put it, even if you accidentally put it in this low range, it's going to probably stay in 8th gear until you know, adjust it down. So that way it saves the transmission. So right in here, in front of the shifter, we have 3 buttons. This one is to turn off your traction control in case you need to spin tires. This is really only handy if you're stuck in the mud or snow and you need to spin tires to get out. You can turn that off. Your parking sensors, front and rear, you can turn that on and off. Sometimes you have to get close to something and you don't want to have annoying beeping. So this is really cool. This is an advanced parking assist. So when you push this button, it will pop this up and let you know if there's an appropriate size parking space. So as you're driving, you're looking for a parallel parking spot, right? So you can change, of course, parallel or perpendicular. So let me go ahead and change that so you can see what it looks like. And once you pass a spot, it will beep at you and let you know to go ahead and put it in reverse, and it will actually turn the steering wheel for you and back you into that parking spot. The only thing you have to do is put it in the appropriate gear and push the accelerator. And of course you want to keep an eye on things, but the steering wheel will actually turn and get you in that spot. Really cool. I mean, it's a little awkward, weird feeling the first time you use it because you're not accustomed to, you know, the vehicle steering itself. But if you're not really very comfortable with parallel parking, then this is kind of a really cool aid to kind of get you perfectly between the spot. Now, it will only do this if there's an appropriate size space. So that's what this searching for spot means, that you know, you can pass a spot and it'll sense that the vehicle can actually fit in that spot. Now, if you turn the left signal on, it will change it to the left side. So you can see it automatically turns to the left. Typically it's going to be on your right. So it all depends on what kind of street you're on. Okay, so here's your armrest, and it's quite a good size armrest, and it appears to be designed for both the driver and the passenger to use. So they have that center line so they don't fight over it. They already have it separated for them. But yeah, a really nice contrast stitching there, and a little bit of cushion, not like super soft, so it does support your arm good without, you know, being too hard. And this lifts up. You can see that little storage pocket a little bit better now. But right in here you have a pretty deep place to put some stuff, and it's gonna get cluttered up if you don't be careful. It's pretty good size, so just keep that in mind. Right up here is an auto dim rear view mirror, and it's kind of auto dimming right now because I have the shade over the light sensor. Right over here you have the OnStar buttons right here, and you have the roadside assistance and the emergency button there that you can push in case you need it. Tap lights, LED little tap lights in case you need a quick light. There's your HomeLink garage door openers there. And you can have all the interior lights on by pushing that button. You can also turn the feature to where the interior lights turn on and off with the door. You can turn that feature on and off. Now we have a shade for the panoramic sunroof. Huge panoramic sunroof here, and it has this power shade that you can open and close. I'm going to leave it open for right now because I want to show you how this opens. And then you also have a button here to vent the sunroof. And now the back portion is fixed. It's just the front portion that moves. So you can vent it, or you can open it up like so. And there you go, and that way you can get some nice fresh air. And if you don't want any light to come in, it has a shade, a power shade, that blocks the light completely and turns the inside. It looks just like a headliner. Okay, let's take a look at the visibility back here. See if I can give you a good angle there. Yeah, you have really small headrests there, so it's not really impeding your visibility. You also have those little windows there on the side to help out with blind spots. Even though you do have the blind spot monitoring system, those still help out quite a bit with a quick look. Really, really amazing, comfortable seats. And the headrests are adjustable just by pushing this button. That's really convenient there on the side. Okay, there you have it. 2016 Chevrolet Malibu in the new style. Really awesome vehicle. Really excited to show it off. I mean, there's so many cool things about it. So it's probably lots of things I've skipped over. You see it has this metallic accents here. Those are very impressive. You even have it here on the steering wheel. So you have to see one for yourself. So check it out. And thank you for watching, and thank you to KUHN Chevrolet for allowing me to show off an awesome vehicle. And I'll see you guys next time.